social media influence, Facebook advertising, dropshipping, Instagram. You would think that the magic lies on the internet and in a small country in Eastern Europe called Belarus. When 6-year-old Biaheza was halted halfway across the world from Belarus to California, no one would have guessed that he was going to become a millionaire at the age of 18. Teaching finance, investment, and dropshipping on YouTube, Biaheza has now positioned himself as a force to reckon with in the e-commerce and content creation space. But things were not always this way for Biaheza. As immigrants, things weren't exactly smooth for Biaheza and his family, and they ended up moving around a lot from one apartment complex to the other. Biaheza started hustling at a very young age, from flipping bikes on Craigslist to buying and selling kendamas to fixing iPhone screens and making graphic design. Biaheza was unstoppable. But soon enough, Biaheza will find one thing that would eventually become his ticket to the life he had always dreamed of. Growing up, Biaheza was obsessed with watching videos of people talking about how they started their entrepreneurial journeys. Biaheza found these videos super inspiring because it was young people like him making them. This just made him realize if they could do it, he could do it as well. In 5th grade, Biaheza got on YouTube for the very first time, but soon enough, Biaheza was distracted by something else that was popping up at the time: Instagram. Biaheza downloaded the Instagram app without even realizing what the app was all about. To him, it was a cool photo editing app to play around with. Using his 4th generation iPod Touch, Biaheza was taking cool photos and putting cool filters on them. Biaheza was just basically goofing around on the app until he got to middle school and finally figured out that Instagram was actually a social media platform. Coming to this realization of what Instagram was really about, Biaheza soon found his niche on the platform. Taking inspiration from photography and nature-themed pages like Earth Pics that were featuring works from different Instagram photographers and growing a large following. Biaheza started his own theme pages without even realizing that people were making money from these pages. The pages did not kick off as well as Biaheza would have hoped, but he kept at it because he really wanted to make some money for himself. And let's be real, there weren't really any jobs that he could do at that age. When Biaheza turned 15 though, he got his first official job passing out flyers from door to door for a local restaurant. But really, how much money could an idealistic young entrepreneur make from distributing flyers? When Biaheza finally got the legal endorsement to labor for money, he dived right into the market, getting a job at the department store. Around the same time, one of the pages Biaheza was building started to pick up. Surprisingly, this was a new page that he had started in the travel and photography niche. He had grown the page to about 13,000 followers before selling his first shout-out for $10. $10 from something that he had built from scratch. That was all the validation that Biaheza needed to continue what he had started. And quite frankly, $10 wasn't a lot of money. Biaheza made more money working his day job, but to him that first payment meant a lot more than just money in his account. It was a proof of concept. That was his "you can actually make money from this thing" moment. Then came the Instagram takeover, staged and sleekly executed by Biaheza. Following his first paid gig on Instagram, Biaheza went harder on the Instagram grind and started a couple of new pages. Most of them didn't do well, but a couple of them did, and for Biaheza that was more than enough. Biaheza started selling even more shoutouts and even started selling Instagram theme pages. By running shoutouts, Biaheza came to the realization that many of the pages that were paying him to run shoutouts were actually drop shipping pages. These pages were selling products from AliExpress and a couple of other e-commerce sites for a higher price on their own websites and making good profit in between. Wow, who knew you could flip money around just like that? A businessman on a mission, Biaheza soon decided that he was going into the drop shipping business himself. But Biaheza would come out of the business almost as fast as he got in, but only to get back in again. What really happened in between, and why did Biaheza stop dropshipping only to go back into it again? A few days after Biaheza turned 17, he started his own dropshipping business. Biaheza quickly put together a site for himself where he seems to have managed to break all the rules of aesthetics and grammar and launched his site. He found a product a lot of people were selling and created a site for it. Biaheza's experience at selling shoutouts to dropshipping pages had sort of given him valuable insight into what worked and what didn't work in the industry. Biaheza came into the market ready and started making sales on his first go. In his very first month of business, Biaheza made about $800 in revenue. This was a fairly good run for his first month in business, but there was one huge problem. Biaheza actually didn't make any profit in the first month. Biaheza had, in what must have seemed like a good business move, decided to run shoutouts on bigger pages on Instagram. This had cost him close to $500. Taking out this marketing cost and product cost and all the fees, Biaheza had basically made a loss. Biaheza could have kept at this and sort of bootstrapped his business into breaking even and then making a profit, but he didn't have that luxury. Biaheza knew he needed money and he needed it ASAP. So he stopped dropshipping, but what did he do next? He went back to Instagram. This time with even more vim and with a different goal in mind. This time he planned to grow his own theme pages to the level where he didn't have to pay other pages for shoutouts for his dropshipping business. Cutting out this marketing cost would leave a huge profit margin, and he knew it. He started brand new pages, and this time he went crazy on Instagram, posting 5 to 6 times a day for months without taking a break. Biaheza at the time had graduated from high school, graduating a year earlier than he should have, and jumped straight into university to pursue a degree in nursing. Around the same time, he took a job that was extremely physically tasking, and at a company that sold inflatables. Biaheza had to travel hours to get to events, set up inflatables, and then deflate them and travel back home with very little rest in between. Biaheza left this job to take a job at an elderly care institution. He figured this would be a good resume builder for him. All this while Biaheza was still working hard at building his Instagram pages, and soon enough, he started turning in a revenue of over $1,000 a month just from selling shoutouts on his pages. Biaheza had achieved his aim of building big pages on Instagram, and it was time to get back into the drop shipping game. He now had a ready market, and quite frankly, selling shoutouts sucked. It involved dealing with a lot of people, many of whom actually didn't want to part with their money. Going into dropshipping the second time around, Biaheza used one of his pages for ads, and this is where it gets really wild. Biaheza made $500 on his very first day back in the game, and by the end of that month, he had made $33,488 in sales, a far cry from the $1,000 goal. That was 30 times the revenue he had envisioned. It was time to start balling, right? But Biaheza didn't do that. He knew that he didn't come from money, and there was no trust fund lying around waiting for him to turn 21. It was just him and his hustle. Biaheza was saving and investing aggressively, also feeling that the income he was making at the time in e-commerce was not sustainable. After raking in over $50,000 in revenue in his third month, Biaheza decided to quit his job as a caregiver. Biaheza also stopped selling shoutouts to other businesses on his Instagram pages and was focused on scaling his dropshipping business when he stumbled into his next smoking gun, Facebook advertising. Biaheza quickly learned the ropes of Facebook advertising and started making money from that end as well. Today, Biaheza continues to make money from YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and from selling a comprehensive dropshipping course. His YouTube channel has over 1 million subscribers, and he has a large following across several other platforms. It seems like Biaheza is just getting started, and we're all coming along for the ride.